There are different types of Chinese preserved vegetables. 酸菜, 梅菜, 冬菜, 榨菜, 碎米芽菜. They are all different types and have different flavors. Sometimes they are interchangeable. Sometimes they don't. Hi, I'm KB Kwan from Taste of Asian Food. In this video, I'm going to make steamed minced pork with Tianjin preserved vegetables. In Chinese, we call it dong cai. It is a no-frill, typical Cantonese dish that is cooked in every family. These Tianjin preserved vegetables, or Tianjin dong cai, is a pickle of Chinese cabbage, and it imparts a salty and garlicky flavor. It is nearly impossible to explain correctly how it tastes with words, so let's try it yourself. Let me show you how to make the steamed minced pork with these Tianjin preserved vegetables. For simplicity, I'll just call it preserved vegetables in this video. All you need is some minced pork, the preserved vegetables, and some basic seasonings. You can get these preserved vegetables in most of the Chinese grocery stores, and it usually sells loose or some are pre-packed in a plastic bag. If you are unsure which type of preserved vegetables is dong cai, show this image to the storekeeper and make sure you get the correct one. I use about 50 grams of preserved vegetables for 350 grams of pork today. Soak the preserved vegetables in water because it is quite salty and it also contains some sand, so it is best to wash it before use. After soaking for about 10 minutes, discard those things to the bottom. And squeeze out the water. Then give it a few rough chops and set aside. Now let's move on to prepare the scallion. Cut the scallions into two sections. Separate the white and the green section. And then cut both into thin slices. The white section of the scallions is to mix with the minced meat, which will make the meat patty become less dense and more tender after steaming. As for the green section, it is for garnishing after steaming. Now move on to the minced pork. I use the pork from the butcher, which my butcher has already grinded for me with his machine. Of course, you can also choose to buy your own pork and mince it yourself. Either way, use about 80% of lean meat and 20% of pork fat for all the steamed pork dishes. If you use lean meat alone, it is certainly healthier, but it is also too dry and generally is not recommended. Season the minced meat with a small amount of light soy sauce, some sesame oil, ground white pepper, some Chinese Shaoxing wine, then add the white section of the scallion and the preserved vegetables. Give it a good mix and then add some cornstarch into it, as cornstarch will give the pork a more silky mouthfeel and also help to bind the liquid. And of course, you need to add a little bit of water, about 2 tablespoons, for the purpose of forming some gravy after steaming. The gravy has a fantastic taste, especially when mixing with plain rice. Transfer the meat paste to a plate and then level it to form a meat patty. I like to use stainless steel plates as stainless steel is a good conductor and it is best for steaming. And of course, you can also use ceramic plate. If you use ceramic plate, make sure that you steam slightly longer. Place the trivet in the wok, then add some water until the level is right before the trivet. Then cover and bring the water to a boil. Place the plate of the meat on the trivet with a plate gripper. Then cover and steam for 10 minutes over medium heat. The exact duration depends on the thickness of the patty and the heat of the stove, of course. The pork is cooked where the color has changed and form abundance of gravy on the plate. Lastly, sprinkle some thinly sliced green section of the scallion as the topping. And then add a teaspoon of light soy sauce on it and serve. Once steamed, the minced meat will exude an abundance of gravy flavor with the preserved vegetables. Kids often like to mix the gravy with plain rice, and adults enjoy the steamed meats. That's how to make steamed minced pork with Tianjin preserved vegetables. If you like this video, please subscribe to my YouTube channel, click the notification bell and give me a like. I've also included the recipe in the section below the video. And don't forget to share these videos with your friends and family on social media. I'll see you again in some other similar videos soon, and bye for now.